It's the Happy Families Podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
It's just the importance of having this plan, right? That's ultimately what this is about. It's about saying we're going to identify one thing to improve. What's the plan, Stan?
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
Have we got some exciting news for you?
Should we dive into it?
Of course.
Okay, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, across the weekend, we sat down at the in-laws' place. So our daughter Chanel is married to Jared. Jared's parents hosted the
gender reveal.
I'm not a fan of the gender reveal. I'd rather find out on the day that the baby is born. I want to find out.
Well, we've never found out.
We've never found out.
It's been very exciting for us, and I would have loved for her to follow suit. And she probably actually was in line with that.
But you know what? Hey, it's their life. If this is what they've chosen to do, I'm all on board because I love the kids. And so a while back, we said that we were going to become grandparents. It's really happening now. Like, it's really happening. What have we got? Like a month and a half to go? 6 weeks?
60 days.
Get out of it. It can't even be that. It's got to be less than that now.
No, 60 days.
Okay, well.
She's counting.
Sometime in the next couple of months, there is going to be an additional baby in the family, and it won't be one that we have to deal with all the time, which I'm so delighted about. We now know. We now know what gender that child will be, and the photographer who came along, a friend of Chanel's, to sort of document the gender reveal, got a little bit of audio for us by videoing the explosive moment where the cannons went off and we saw the colour of the smoke. Here's what happened.
3, 2, 1.
And the colour of the smoke was... We know how to make girls in this family.
The funny thing was, Jared's side of the family, they have all boys. All of the grandkids are boys.
That's right.
And we have a house full of girls, and I'm full of girls.
Yeah,
And you've got the majority of girls in your family as well.
Right.
And so we were on Team Blue.
Yeah, we were convinced that there was a boy coming.
And his family were Team Pink.
Yeah.
So it was very funny to see it all unfold. What's so funny is watching the breakdown on camera where we've got the still shots, second by second.
Yeah.
Is the cannon has literally blown. You can see pink all through the sky. And for about 4 frames, there is zero response. In real time.
Happens in a fraction of a second.
Yes, but when it's broken down into those incremental, second by second frames.
You can see all the brains computing.
Yes.
It's pink. It's a girl. Oh, my goodness.
And you've got Team Girl with their arms thrown in the air. You've got the mother-in-law who was on Team Blue, and she's literally got her head in both hands thinking, oh, no, I really wanted a boy. It was so delightful. It was so nice to be with everybody and to just be able to celebrate the expectant joy and how that is actually creating joy in our lives already.
And
I'm
feeling super confident now. Like, I know what to do with a baby girl. I'm feeling okay about this now. I was really excited to have a little grandbaby boy, but I had no idea. Like, it's what do you do with that little thing between its legs when you have to change its nappy? I was nervous about that sort of stuff. Not that I plan on changing any nappies, but
well, a couple of the sister-in-laws, they actually thought you were a bit disappointed if I'm perfectly honest.
Did they really?
They did.
Oh, they mustn't have seen the photo of my face.
They did. They thought you were a bit disappointed. You're on Team Blue. You were expecting a boy. You wanted a boy.
No. There was no expectation or wanting. Do you know what it actually came down to? This is there's a theory that's been going around for a long, long time. Many people have shared it with me. And the theory is that super fit and healthy men with lots of testosterone have girls. I
don't know where you've ever heard that.
I've heard it a number of times. And people who are not
I think the more you enjoy sex, the better off you're going to have a girl.
Right. And... Or maybe that's the theory. I don't know. And if you're a little bit less in shape, maybe have slightly lower testosterone, you're more likely to have a boy. That's the theory that I heard. And I like Jared has been in better shape over the years. He's not in horrendously bad shape or anything, but I've always been in really good shape. And I thought, that's it. I'm a super athlete. I've had lots of girls. And there goes the theory because...
Well, either that or Jared's actually super, super fit.
Either that or they're having a wonderfully healthy, intimate life, which we don't need to talk about here on the podcast or ever again, quite frankly. So anyway, we're going to become girl grandparents because we're already a girl mum and girl dad, and the trend continues. Now, with that exciting personal news out of the way and having taken up way too much time in our podcast already, we need to talk business. every single Friday on the Happy Families podcast. We do this.
Well, I've noticed for a little while now,
Yes.
every time we get on to do I'll Do Better Tomorrow, you acknowledge that you're not here.
Yes. And it's been another week like that. At the moment, I'm just traveling a lot. There is a lot of seminars to do all over the country.
And so this episode gets a little bit tricky to do from time to time because you're not here a lot.
Okay, but I'm here now.
You are. And so during the week, I was actually, I discovered a new function on my podcast app.
Okay.
There's this thing, you just push unplayed and it brings up all of the unplayed episodes
Really?
from whatever podcast. You're making fun of me.
No. Honestly, I just listen to what's next in the queue.
Well, I usually flick down and I find, okay, I haven't listened to that one and I'll play that. But there's a button.
Right.
And I pushed it and there was a lot more than I thought I hadn't listened to. So I actually scrolled down to the bottom because you know when you play, if you want to play them consecutively, it actually goes up the list instead of down the list.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I had to go down to the bottom of the list so I could start there so it would kind of go upwards. Well, it took me back to when I very first joined the podcast.
Right.
There were so many that I hadn't listened to. So I just started kind of, on speed dial. I'm listening to them really fast.
So, I've got to say, now I know that we've got an important conversation to have here, but I've started listening. I'm trying to reduce my phone usage and I'm also trying to slow my life down and create more margin. I've started listening to podcasts on regular speed.
Do you know what? I did this with the girls the other day because I'm listening at 1.75.
Oh, come on.
Right?
Oh, my goodness. No.
And it sounds so normal.
Right.
It sounds so normal. So anyway, the other day I thought...
Sounds like we've just got this great energy all the time.
Yes, it's really energized, pumped. If I'm listening to Americans every now and again, I have to slow it down because they
don't speak Australian English.
Yeah, their twang's a bit too hard to get when you speed it up.
You're listening on 1.75.
But I was listening to this therapist the other day and no joke, I put her on single speed.
Yeah.
And I looked at my daughter and I was like...
Single speed. I love it.
I said to her, does that sound like it's like drawing out? It was so slow. She looked at me. She said, that does not sound normal. So then I put it up to 1.75 and I'm like, no, that's better.
Yeah.
Well, I've slowed it down. I'm listening to single speed.
Anyway, you've been listening to all of our old podcasts.
So I've been listening to not all of them, but obviously the ones I've missed.
Yep.
And I've noticed a trend.
Right.
Now, we've got over 800 episodes.
Yes.
I joined you at about 134, I think.
Wow.
Was the
You
intro.
have recorded a lot of podcast episodes.
So
now.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of you and I in there.
Mm.
And what I noticed is time and time again
Yes.
in our I'll Do Better Tomorrow,
Right.
we've acknowledged that we really suck at doing holidays. That's
yeah.
a big thing.
I can see that
like
theme recurring.
literally back from like the first week,
Wow.
we acknowledged that we're really bad at holidays.
Let's make a plan. Let's improve that. Let's do better tomorrow.
And that we need to slow down.
Oh, well,
Time and time again. It's just this acknowledgement that we're cramming way too much into our lives and we need to slow down. And I thought, isn't it interesting? After all of this time, we're still talking about the same thing.
wow. So we're not getting any better. Is that what you're saying?
I think that we get better at different times.
Right. Okay. So it's cyclical.
Yeah. And I think often what happens is we get really intentional and we make changes.
Yep.
Necessary changes to what's going on, but then we become complacent.
Mm.
And sometimes it's not even complacency. Sometimes there are like big things that happen in our lives that change. Moving
Yep.
house, that changed everything in our lives.
Yep.
There's just different seasons in our lives and things that happen that
Progression and regression.
yeah. I think that we're at a stage in our lives yet again where we need a bit of an overhaul.
Yes, and it's been a long time since we've gone and done like our quarterly getaways. For those of you who are new to the concept, once every quarter, we used to, before COVID, we used to disappear for a weekend and either your parents or my parents would watch the kids for those 2 nights and we'd go away. And yes, we would enjoy our time together and have a little bit of a break, but we actually went there with an agenda and we talked about what's going well, what's not, and what we're going to improve on over the next 12 weeks, over the next quarter, and it made such a difference. It helped us to stay aligned and focused together and really be on the same page and work towards improving and progressing what our family was about.
And since COVID, because it's been so challenging to get that time away, it hasn't been the regular quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you've had your parents have had some health issues and my parents are just a long way away from us, so it's just been tricky.
And so when we have gone away, we haven't been able to do 2 nights generally. It's been 1 night. We're squeezing it in.
And we've just wanted to have fun and
we
not talk about
just wanted to
stuff.
be together. Yeah. So it's been really tricky and it's something that we really recognise makes such a difference in our lives when we do it.
Let's talk about our I'll Do Better Tomorrow now that we've shared your insights from our repetitive challenges as a family and the delight of being baby girl grandparents, or soon to be at least. What is your I'll do better tomorrow for the week?
On the weekend just gone, you and I did something that we know works.
Yes.
To get on the same page. We got together, we had a catch up.
It wasn't nearly long enough. We need a quarterly getaway, but it was an hour, an hour and a half.
Instead of sitting in our bed and being less than inspired, I said, let's go down to the beach. So we went down to the beach, we had a walk, we took the notepad and pen, and we went through the same 3 questions that we ask every time we do this.
What's going well? What's not going so well? And what's the one thing that we're going to improve this week to make our family or our individual lives function better?
And the challenge when you need a complete overhaul is how do you prioritize one thing?
I know.
Because we're looking at diet, we're looking at sleep, we're looking at screen usage, we're looking at
seriously, the list of what's going well. I mean, things are fine, but the thing is, we don't want things to be fine. We want things to be fantastic.
We want to be flourishing.
Yeah, and the list of things that we can improve on, I mean, it was long, it was substantial. But if you try to improve it all at once, it's overwhelming, it gets too hard, and you kind of run out of steam on about day 3. It all just hurts too much to try to implement all this change all at once.
Yeah, and what often happens is you start off gung-ho with all of these changes, and within a few days you can't sustain.
Can't sustain it. So we picked just a couple of things to work on this week. One thing personally, one thing as a couple, and something as a family. We brought the kids in once we'd had our conversation and we talked about the family stuff. I have done super well on my personal stuff in terms of making my mornings magic, and we have our first date. We've got a date night tonight, which I'm delighted about because it means that we're implementing the stuff that we've said that's important and the stuff that the family said that we would work on together and try to improve. It's been a little bit lumpy and bumpy, but the reality is we're making progress, and it's just the importance of having this plan, right? That's ultimately what this is about. It's about saying we're going to identify one thing to improve. What's the plan, Stan?
And I think the most important thing is so often we want immediate and substantial change to take place, to feel like we've been successful,
right? To
feel like it's been worthwhile.
Yes.
But the very fact that we now have awareness of what's going wrong and where we need to improve, that's a massive tick.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can keep living this life and just letting things slide and make no acknowledgement, and nothing changes.
Yeah.
But the very fact that we're able to have the conversation is the most important thing. The second thing is recognizing that because it's not just you that you're bringing along, it's a whole team of people that are at various developmental stages, let alone capacity.
And care factor. Like different kids care a whole lot more about some stuff than other stuff.
It's really important that you're not hard on yourself or your family. So if you see that for one moment in time, life was actually really good, then you have to be able to see that and acknowledge it for what it is. And the conversation that we have next week is, okay, we had a great Monday. How do we make this flow into Tuesday? Or how do we increase the amount of time we've been able to spend together as a family this week? So we have to see the wins for what they are.
Yep.
However small, however incremental, however small. Because if we don't, then we're going to literally spiral down, lose all desire and motivation to keep trying.
So our I'll do better tomorrow for this week really is get serious with intention and put a plan together for 1 or 2 things to improve this week, and then have the conversation every week, every Saturday or every Sunday. Sit down and have the 10 or 15 minutes with the family, maybe have an hour as a couple, get on the same page and watch things, fingers crossed, hopefully get better. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. If you would like more information about making your family happier, please consider becoming a Happy Families member. Our Happy Families members are the reason that we can do this podcast. They're the reason that we can put all this stuff up on social media that helps to make your family happier. What we're really trying to do here is provide you with as many free resources as we can, but it's only because of the support of our Happy Families members that we're able to do that. happyfamilies.com.au/join. We'd love for you to get full access to all of our resources, including the premium resources, and support your family to be happier and support us in the work that we do to help other families be happier. We would be so grateful, delighted for you to please consider becoming a member today. Have a great weekend, and hopefully you'll do better tomorrow as a result of what we've talked about today.